Hi, I'm Carol. Welcome to my Creating Corner. I'm so glad that you found me here because I'm so excited to share with you my new card design that I just think is gorgeous. It's using the Waves of Inspiration stamp set as well as the Paradise Palms. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, I just love it. Now this card is using a sentiment from the Waves of Inspiration set. And on this one, I did it in Coastal Cabana. You know, all the different blues are like the different oceans of the world. Which ocean are you? Are you Atlantic, Pacific, Mediterranean, Caribbean? Well, you can see them all in the inks of Stampin' Up. So this is with the Coastal Cabana, a happy little birthday card. Here's a retirement card with the brand new in color Tahitian Tide. Starting May 3rd, you'll be able to do this card in this color. Isn't that just a beautiful blue? So I'll show you all the in colors that we're going to have coming up in just a minute. But here is the card in Pacific Point. And this is the one that we're doing today together. Oh, I love it. I don't know if you can see the sparkle and just the dynamics of the sea foam and the spray, but let me get it down on the table and let you get a closer look. Maybe it'll be a bit easier to see then with the sparkle and all. I love it. I know you want to see how I did it. Let's go. Here we go, a little bit closer. Can you see the sparkle to it? Yes, I just love it. You know, when you've got the sun shining on the water and the water is, you know, coming in the waves, it kind of glistens, and that's what I was looking for, and I think I actually achieved it with this card. How did I do it? Well, let's take a look. Okay, come out a little bit. Oopsie, there we go. Okay, let me gather my materials. Oh, I told you I would show you the new in colors, so let me do that first. Coming out in our new catalog on May the 3rd, you know, every year you get 5 new colors and they stay around for 2 years. And so coming out May 3rd, we have Tahitian Tide, which is a beautiful blue. Orchid Oasis, it's another purple that we were just seemed to be missing. Parakeet Party is going to be the perfect, bright, happy green without being too bright and overwhelming. Sweet Sorbet, everybody needs this shade in their stamping toolbox. And then Starry Sky, this is a beautiful color here. Alright, so those are our new colors. To do this card, we'll be using Pacific Point, a little bit of Balmy Blue, Soft Suede, Pear Pizazz, and So Saffron. The card stocks, a little square of Pear Pizazz, around 3 by 3, just to do the palm tree top. Of course, a panel of basic white, that's your typical 5 1/4 by 4. That's for your inside sentiment. Then we have Shimmer White cardstock. Just adds a little bit extra shimmer to your background here. We have Sahara Sand, and that's going to be our frame, as well as what we're using to do our other little elements. And then a Pacific Point card base, and this is your regular 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and fold that on the score line. Use my bone folder to give it a nice crisp crease. We'll put that aside for the moment. Okay, the first thing I want to do is grab that which makes the magic. This shimmery white embossing paste. Yes, you can always color any of your embossing paste that you want to, but I want to use this in white because it's going to do for the surf and the spray. So we leave it, so I'm going to leave it white, and the shimmer is just perfect and just adds so much dynamics to this card. So I've got my Shimmer White paste there. I've got my palette knife here. I take my Pacific Point. Now, you know, on the back of your card cases, you have these stickers with the color and the name in various different languages. So, of course, you put one on the end, but you take another one off and you put it in there. And if you have a lot of ink pads open, you can see the color, because sometimes your open ink pads, you can't really tell which color is which. So it's always nice to use one of these extra labels on the inside right there in that little depression where you put your fingers to move your ink pad. Okay, so I've got my beautiful wave. Did I even show you these whole sets? I don't think I did. Let me shut this so I don't make a mess. Okay, I'm using the Waves of Inspiration, and this has this gorgeous wave that I'll be using. It's got, I love the pelican on the pilings. He's so cute. And then our friendship is a thing of beauty. One little bird, so that you can just do it exactly where you want the bird. You're so totally awesome. Your strength is an inspiration, and happy birthday. So this is just a beautiful set with really nice sentiments. And I just love the pelican. And this wave, okay, these two are the stars of this particular card. The other set I'm using is Paradise Palms. Now, Paradise Palms has nice little grasses, and it's got two kinds of palm tree leaves, a straight and a bent. We'll be using the bent on this card. We have a full-on palm tree head and a slightly blowing in the wind. We're going to use this on the inside. And then we have, hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. Happy birthday, retirement wishes, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. So, yeah, this is a beautiful set. This set does come with coordinating dies, just like the Waves of Inspiration. I'm not going to be using any of the dies today because I don't mind fussy cutting, and I'm only doing one card, so I'm just going to be fussy cutting those two out. Not a big deal. Okay, we'll also use the Painted Texture embossing folder. This is a really nice dynamic embossing folder. Gives just a little bit of texture around the frame. And we'll use the rectangle dies also to cut out this inside. The inside is, I believe, 4 and grab my die here. The die is 3 by 4.5, but the inside opening is 4 1/4 by 3. Okay, leave that there. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink up my wave, and I'm going to put it on the Shimmer White cardstock. This is really good cardstock for watercoloring, but you don't have to limit it to watercoloring. Like, I'm not watercoloring right now, so when you're inking up a stamp, whichever is bigger stays on the table. If your stamp is bigger than the ink pad, you're going to put the stamp down and you're going to hold the ink pad. If the ink pad's bigger, the ink pad goes on the floor, on the table. Okay, that is inked up. There we go. Now, I'm going to leave just a little bit of room along the bottom of this cardstock, but not a whole lot. But this is going to go across the entire length of this card panel. This card panel is 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm just going to put that down there like that. And I'm going to let it drink it in while I shut this so I don't make a mess. Put that to the side. Okay, so there's my Pacific Point wave. Now I like to stamp this off several times before I put it on my simple chamois to clean. Let me grab that and clean it off. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it from getting too terribly stained. But you can see how well loved this is. Okay, it gets it perfectly clean, so let me put that aside. I'm done with that one. Okay. Now, while that just kind of sits up a minute, I don't want the ink too terribly wet. I'm going to go ahead and get the palm tree top. And in Pear Pizazz, on the Pear Pizazz little scrap, I'm going to stamp the palm tree. Okay. Go. That is it. Let me stamp that off. Clean it. And put it to the side. Put that to the side. Okay. That ink is nice and dry. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the shimmery embossing paste. The embossing paste also comes in a matte finish. This is the shimmer finish. Okay. This tub lasts forever and a day, so I'm going to grab a good little bit on my palette, on my little knife, and I'm going to tap all over. I'm not going to smear it because it's going to reactivate the ink, and I don't want to smear the ink too much, so I'm just going to tap wherever it's white and where I want the spray. Look at how it brings that blue up. Just really picks that blue up. Turn it this way so I can hold it easier. And I'm just tapping. It really doesn't matter, like if you get it really thick, it's okay. It's not like it's going to take longer for it to dry. Your embossing paste does dry really quickly. And that's one thing to keep in mind when you're using it. It dries really quickly. You have to clean your, if you're using a mask, you need to go ahead and clean your mask right away. And clean your tools that you're using right away. Because when this embossing paste dries, it's kind of like cement. You know, it is a bear to get off of your material, off of your tools. So let me close this tight, keep it from drying out. And I'm going to wipe this palette off to make sure that it doesn't get the embossing paste dried on it, because that would be a problem. Okay, so can you see the sparkle on there and just the dimension that it's added? I love it. I'm going to put it aside and let it dry for just a minute. While it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and cut the frame out. Now, I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss. Isn't that just the cutest? It literally folds up so you can move it around easily, so you can pack it up, take it places, put it out of your way. But my table is a little shaky, so I'm going to take this over to the counter and I'm going to do cutting over there. So I'm going to use this the stitched rectangle, and if you'll notice, I'm leaving it a little bit wider at the bottom than at the top. Ooh, it's raining embellishments. There we go. Let's get that out of the way. There we are. So I'm leaving it a little bit wider at the bottom than at the top because I'm going to stamp some grasses along the bottom. Okay, so let me take this over to the counter and cut it. Alrighty, I am back. My Sahara Sand panel is cut. Now before I do any embossing, I'm going to go ahead and take some soft suede and my grasses from the Paradise Palms, and I'm just going to stamp along the bottom, just some grass. Okay. Now I'm going to take this back to my counter and emboss it with the painted texture embossing folder. On these embossing folders you have a line and the word Stampin' Up. Where you see the line and the Stampin' Up, the part of the cardstock that's touching it is the part that's going to have it embossed. The other side is going to be the debossing side. Now if this was like a brick or a plaid design, I would definitely make sure to line the bottom up along this black line right here. Can you see it? I would definitely make sure to line it up along this black line right here to make sure my design was straight, but this is just a general thing, so I don't need to worry about it. Let me go get that embossed. I'll be right back. Here we go. It's just got a little bit of texture to it. I like texture. Now the inside part, the part that we cut out of the middle, that is important for us. We are not throwing that away. Let me put this aside. This is what we're going to do our stamping for the palm trunk and the Pelican. Okay, these are stamped on the inside, so we're not wasting anything. So I'm going to take my soft suede ink again, and the pad is bigger than the stamp, so the pad is on the table, and I'm not pushing and smushing. I'm just tap, 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 just a couple little taps, and it inks your stamp up just the right way. And I'm going to press. I'm not wiggling it. I'm not grinding into the cardstock. I'm just sitting it there, and I get a perfect impression. And now I'm going to take the curved trunk, tap, 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 and I'm going to put that here. There we go. Now I'm going to cut these out real quick. Be right back. When you're doing fussy cutting, you need to move the cardstock. You're turning the cardstock, not the scissors. Alrighty, all done with that. Here is something that I didn't do on this card, but after I did this card, I thought, oh, it would be so cute if I took some linen thread and literally where the rope is on the piling, if I added some rope. So I'm going to get my silicone craft mat, my little silicone craft sheet, which is great so I don't get glue all over everything else. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here. And it's going to take about 7 inches of thread. It's easier for me to do it before I cut it off the thing, but I'm just going to wrap it around a couple of times. And then press it down so it's kind of stuck to the glue on the front. And of course, like I say, it's on my silicone craft mat, which is keeping me from making a sticky mess of everything. Now, across the back to keep those ends in check, I'm going to use some tear and tape. I'll have all of the materials, all of the dimensions, everything down below. But here we go. So that's going to keep it, and I'll just pull that off and that'll help stick it there, but that'll keep it all taken care of. Ooh, I look like I got a little bit where you can see it. There we go. Okay, let me put that aside. Now, this embossing paste is dry. It's already dry. So I'm going to take a blending brush and I'm going to put just a little bit of color. You'll see it's not really colored up here on the white. It's just a little bit to knock off some of that bright white. And on the back of my blending brushes, again, the strips that are on the back of the card, on the back of the ink pad that have the colors, the name of the ink, I took one of those strips and I've got the strips on the back of my blending brushes. You want to have at least one brush per family. Like I use one for all of my yellows, and I've got yellow on here. I don't know, can you see it? Here's the one I use for my reds. It's got red on there. I'll be using the blue, and that one's got the blue on there. Because I'll be honest with you, you can see the colors when they're dry, but sometimes the yellows dry with kind of a green in there. I don't understand why, but they do. So, and the blue kind of has a greenish cast to it also. So sometimes when they dry, you can't really tell what color it actually is. So if you can mark the back so that you'll use the same one for the family. So what I'm going to do here now, let me get those out of the way. I'm just going to take a little bit of So Saffron, put some on my blending brush here. Now when you're using these blending brushes, you start on your scratch paper and then you bring it in. Okay? Start on the scratch paper and bring it in. I'm just putting like a little bit of sun glow there in the corner. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my blue and a little bit of Balmy blue. Start on the scratch and come on in. We're not making it blue. We're just taking off some of the white. There we go. That's all I wanted. I don't want it bright. Okay. Done with these. Not done with that. Let me get those out of the way. Okay. Next thing that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my card base. You can use tear and tape, you can use a tape runner. Honestly, I like the wet glue. Had some dried glue on the tip, and then when it came off, oh my goodness, that's a lot of glue. Okay. So we're going to put that on here. Again, this shimmer card base is 5 by 3 3/4. The Sahara Sand panel was 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to go ahead and put that panel over it. Go. Okay. All right, we'll just let that sit up a minute. Now, we need to make the tree trunk also be you know, that bright day when the sun is just shining on everything and it's just such a gorgeous day. The way we're doing that is, ta-da-da, gold leaf. That's right. We are putting some gold leaf on the trunk. Okay, I had to turn the fan off. You do not want to use the gold leaf while the fan is running. Now the way I'm going to do this is I've got a lot of gold had come out and it's loose in the bag. This giant tub, I cannot tell you how often I have used it, and it just seems to multiply. But what I'm going to do, if you look closely at the trunk, there's like little pieces where it kind of sticks out. You know, the palm tree trunks aren't really smooth. They've got kind of like pieces of bark that peel back off of it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some glue dots. You could use glue, you could use some of that Stampin', oh, what the heck is it called? Anyways, there's different kinds of things you can use, I'm sure. But this, I'm just going to go ahead and use some glue dots to put down on here, because you've got to have something for your gold leaf to stick to. Alright, so I'm not doing a lot, I'm just doing a couple little places. And let me put one more down here. Okay, now I've got the glue down. Like I said, when you use your gold leaf, you do not want a fan running and you don't want to cough. You don't want to laugh. So let me just grab some gold out of here. Just stick it on there. I'm just taking it, I'm just placing it on there. Okay, there's a lot of extra. I can put that over here. And you'll notice I have this on a sheet of just regular white computer paper, because the gold is going to get on the paper and I don't want it really pressed into the back of my card, which is what will happen if you're on the same sheet. Okay. Alright, now I've got my gold down there. Now I'm just going to press, kind of burnish it a little bit, get some of this excess off, maybe put some of the extra here. Just work with it. Just work with it. There we go. And of course, where it's coming over, you do want to pull it off. Okay. So there we go. Now it's just got some gold glinting on it. Isn't that pretty? I love using the gold leaf. Okay, so let me take this off. That's not really enough to try to pour back in the bag, but there we go. Okay, so we have our Pelican with our linen thread. We have our gold leaf on the palm trunk. I know I cut out here it is. That. Okay, so now we're going to put everything where we want it. We're not going to attach it yet, but we're going to place it where we want it, because we need to figure out exactly where we want to stamp our sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to put him here. Now for this card, I'm going to make this a happy birthday card, so I'm going to be using happy birthday. I'll be stamping it in Pacific Point. And I think I'm going to put it right about there. So, tap, 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 just 3 little taps, inks it up, just lovely. If you want to stamp it off to make sure you have enough ink on it, that's not a problem. Happy birthday. There we go. See, it gives you perfect every time. You don't have to push and smush. Okay, now to attach my tree trunk, I'm going to use a strip of the adhesive foam strips. Okay, now you'll notice my scissors, I have a red little red thing on, and these are my sticky scissors. I really recommend whenever you have something sticky that you're cutting, you use a dedicated pair of scissors. Yes, you can clean your scissors, but it's a lot better when you only have one pair of scissors to clean instead of testing all of your scissors out to see which ones are gunked up. Now, I'm going to cut this in half lengthwise, the long way, because it is a little bit thicker to go behind the trunk. It'll stick out a little bit. I don't want it to stick out a little bit. It's not hard to cut. So you're going to hold it between 2 fingers with the wax paper side up, and you're going to place the bottom blade of your scissors where you can feel it with your fingers and you can hold it with your fingers, and then you just cut down the middle and you get your nice thin foam strip. And we are going to put this here. There we go. And this one, of course, got to take the, you have to take the wax paper off of both sides, right? And then there you go. And then cut off the extra. Now, it's better hidden. Oh, I can still see a little bit. Okay. Oh, goodness. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, now, I'm going to take this, and I want that right about there, so I'll put this about like this. There we go. Now I'm going to put my palm tree head on, and I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. Now the thing about using Stampin' Dimensionals and the foam strips are thicker than the Stampin' Dimensionals, so you have to double up your dimensionals. Okay, you just put one there and sit one on top of it. That's all you have to do. You need to make it twice as high because they're not as thick, and so you want your leaves, you want your palm tree head to be as high as the trunk. There we go. Now when we come to attaching our okay, I'm not going to put my Pelican on yet. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple little birds in the air. So I'm going to have my Pelican right about here. So because this is such a tiny little stamp, yes, I can put it in the soft suede, but as you can see, I'm kind of a fumble fingers. I'll just make a mess. So I'm going to take my soft suede Stampin' Right markers, it's really great using your Stampin' Right markers. You can color right on your stamp, and that way nothing gets made a mess. So I'm only going to put 2 little birds on here, I think. Okay, and well, I'm going to do a 3rd one. There we go. How cute is that? Couple cute little birds. Okay, now to attach the pelican. Again, I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm not using any foam strip, so I don't have to double up. If I wanted it to stick out as far as the tree and all, I would. Oopsie, forgot to pull the tape off of that tearing tape. Put that off there. There we go. That tearing tape does a great job of holding your string ends down while you're getting ready to, while you're doing everything else. There we go. Okay, now he's all good to go. Take the wax off. We're going to put him here. I just love that pelican. Okay, now to finish off the sparkle, you know, my motto is more is more. So I'm going to take some of these gorgeous opal rounds, and when you're sliding them off to keep them from scooting all the way across the room, I'll put my finger on the rhinestone or the dot or the round, whatever I'm pulling off. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put just a couple of these on here because, yeah, why not? Okay. My front is done. I'm almost done with my card. Get all this cleaned off. Okay, now I got to make the inside. So my inside panel is basic white cardstock. It is 5 1/4 by 4 with the Pear Pizazz. I'm going to stamp this trio of palm trees from the Paradise Palms set. I'm going to just stamp that right here, the bottom right hand corner. Close that. I'm going to take a sentiment from Paradise Palms that says, "Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be." And in Pacific Point, let me hold it straight. Check to make sure that there's no ink around the side. You don't want ink on anything except the letters. Okay, put that in the middle. Lovely. Now I think I'm going to take my marker and my bird, and I'm going to put a couple little birds on this inside panel also. That outside panel is so gorgeous. We don't want the inside panel feeling like the plain cousin. Oops. It's never good to drop a stamp on your card. There we go. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. Cute, cute. Now let's put it in. Okay, just kind of center it. Lovely. And there it's done. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it so much. I love it so much. Let's see. Can you just see how glittery it is? Oh, I just love it. So yes, happy birthday. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. Don't you just love that card? Who are you going to send it to? Anybody would love getting it. So if you don't have a United States demonstrator and you need one because you want to make this card, I'll be more than happy to help you. Just visit https://creatingwithcarol.stampinup.net. And if you did like this card, please give me a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate it. And while you're clicking, go ahead and click subscribe and the bell to be notified next time I post a video. We have a new catalog coming out on May 3rd with those gorgeous new colors that I showed you. If you need a copy of the catalog, just send me a little note. Just put it down below and I'll get your contact information and I'll pop a catalog right in the mail to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you come back, and until next time, keep making the world a beautiful place. Bye!